Oh boy. Folks, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. Black Ghostface is here. Black Ghostface is here to do a live time reaction. And this is Trying the Worst Food from History by Be Amazed. So, this will be the first time I'm ever in actually doing a reaction. That is literally not like over an hour. I want to make this statement real clear. Now, the live reaction I did of the Honkai Star Rail, when I did a double one, yeah, that was over an hour. But I want to make this statement that every reaction that I do, there is a chance that it might not be over an hour. So, just in case, people wondering or curious, yeah. So, trying the worst food from history by Be Amazed. I can imagine how this is going to be. I really am. But I will say this though: sit back, relax, y'all, because we're gonna be diving into the worst food from history.
Food. We all need it. And over the millennia, humanity has honed its ability to prepare, create, and cook a good meal. Throughout the centuries, however, what exactly constitutes a good meal has changed. A lot. Did you know that pizza wasn't always cheesy? That chocolate wasn't always solid? And jello? Oh god, jello used to look so bad. Clearly, I got curious. So come with me as I cook some food the way it originally was. If I don't give myself food poisoning, it'll be a miracle.
Okay,
Renaissance pizza.
what kind
Do you
of
reckon
pizza?
there's anything more
Pizza
American
supposed to
than
look
grabbing
like
a hot
that.
slice of pepperoni pizza? Well, first off, pizza is Italian. I hope you at least knew that. But secondly, pizza's much older than you think. In fact, the first use of the word pizza was in 997 CE. I won't be going that far back, though. Instead, I'll be making one of the pizza recipes passed down to us by Bartolomeo Scappi back in 1570. Scappi was, by many accounts, the world's first celebrity chef, cooking for several popes before publishing his recipe book. Scappi provides a few different recipes for pizza in his book. Since one such recipe was already prepared by Max Miller over on Tasting History, and because I'm a masochist, I went with the most un-pizza-y one I could. So, what are the ingredients? Oh, the usual. 1 cup of almonds, 3/4 cup of pine nuts, 7 or 8 figs, 10 dates, half a cup of raisins, 8 or so biscotti biscuits, 6 eggs, 3/4 a cup of granulated sugar, butter, and around 3/4 of a cup of rose water, and your choice of pie shell. Yeah,
Rose
as it turns
water?
out, Renaissance pizza is a lot more dessert-like than I thought. You'll also need a mixing bowl, pie tin, whisk, food processor, egg yolker, along with a mortar and pestle. Start by grounding up your biscotti, or other similar biscuit, in your mortar. We'll be using a food processor later, but the recipe makes a point that you do this separately. So, I am. Plus, it's kind of satisfying. Now it's time to get blending. If you're a hardcore historian and have the day free, you can do this with your mortar and pestle, but I'm just going to use the food processor. Now, Scappi was often cooking for large audiences, so I've reduced the size of the recipe. Don't worry though. Me from the future knows it turns out great. Begin shredding the figs, raisins, dates, almonds, and pine nuts in your food processor. And do this in batches, as these ingredients get extremely thick and sticky when ground up. You might even need to shake it to get an even blend. Just look at that. Progressively add your gooey concoction to your mixing bowl and make sure you give it a nice, thorough mix. Once that's done, add in your rose water. Next, we're going to need the yolks from our 6 eggs. Leave the whites. Okay, this yolker was obviously no good. This is a little embarrassing.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story instead
I
of
have
following
never
a
Look, I had a bad
in my
time with
life
the
heard
yolks,
of
okay?
rose
Let's go
water.
ahead. Ah, perfect. Next up, melt 3 tablespoons of butter in a frying pan. Then add the yolks, sugar, and butter to a bowl and mix thoroughly. Next up, get your pie tin and place in a puff pastry shell of your choice. Obviously, you can make your own, however, Scoppy himself didn't care much about this part, so I went with the easiest option. Spread your concoction throughout the tin as evenly as you can. Pat it down and try to get it as flat and equal as
Why does that look like for real doo-doo from the sewer? Like, why does that look like that? I know now. I get it. It may look abnormal, but I'm sure people gonna be saying, "Oh, this tastes delicious." But keyword, worst food from history. Who has the time to make a food like this and be saying this is so incredibly edible? I am for sure, never seen food that looked like this before.
possible. Nice. Place into an oven preheated to 400 degrees and bake for 10 minutes. Then lower the temperature to 320 and bake for another 30 minutes. Keep a close eye on your pizza. One way to see if it's done is to stick a knife into the center. If the blade comes out clean, it's probably done, or at least close to done. It'll also start to smell like Christmas. Oh, look at that gorgeous deep dish pizza. Now let's take a
Yeah.
slice. Oh, beautiful. Imagine if modern pizzas were still this thick. Now let's give it a try. Wow, the flavors here are lovely, but incredibly rich.
Magnifique.
I wouldn't recommend big bites of this one. The rosewater adds a really nice subtle floral touch to the pie that complements the fruity, nutty base as well. As weird as it may seem, pizza looked more like this than its modern cheesy variety until the 19th century, when more savory flat pizzas caught on. Still, I think this Renaissance pizza is totally delicious, if a little thick. Kinda makes me wonder what a mashup between Scoppy's pizza and today's might look like.
No.
Well, I guess the last question is it more of a pizza than one with a pineapple on it? If you think it is, yes,
It
hit
looks
that
like
like button. If
it-
it's a
it-
no,
it looks
hit
like a
subscribe.
pie.
All done? Right, well,
Like a
all
pizza
that dessert
pie.
got me in the mood for lunch. Aztec hot chocolate.
Aztec hot
Where
chocolate.
would we be without chocolate? By
Mmm.
which I mean, where would I be? Probably 30 pounds less and a whole lot less happy. But did you know that despite our fondness for this sweet, smooth, creamy candy, chocolate actually traces its roots back to at least 1500 BCE in Mesoamerica? It didn't come in convenient bar form either, but it was a thick, gooey drink. The
Gooey.
Aztecs in particular had a strong affinity for the stuff.
Thick,
Far
ooey
from a
gooey.
simple treat, however, the Aztecs believed that chocolate, or chocolatl, was a gift from the winged
Chocolat.
serpent god Quetzalcoatl. The Aztecs enjoyed their
Tongue
chocolate
twister.
with reverence in the form of a cold drink flavored with hot spices, which is interesting because I am a wimp when it comes to spices. So let's put it to the taste test. For this recipe, you'll need 90 grams of 100% dark cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of achiote powder, and 2 cups of water. If you want to add some sweetness, avoid regular white sugar. I'd recommend 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw cane sugar, which has a distinct taste. If you can't find 100% cocoa powder, you can substitute in high percentage dark chocolate. Leave it in the refrigerator or freezer, then grate it into a powder before cooking. To go along with my chocolate, I'll also be making some popcorn using some popping kernels. We'll get into why later. To prepare, you'll need a couple of pots or saucepans, a whisk, and some measuring equipment. Begin by adding water to the pot and heating on a medium temperature. After a minute or two, add the cocoa powder and give it a stir. Add the sugar at this point if you're using it and stir it in. Then, add a
This is really
spoonful
teaching
of
you how to
chili
cook.
flakes. Yes, I know, but trust me.
The worst food
Then add
ever.
your achiote powder. Bring the mixture to a boil. Once it begins to bubble, reduce the heat and stir as the concoction becomes nice and thick. Yeah, that's the stuff. While you may be tempted to guzzle your hot chocolate down now, that wouldn't be authentic, as the Aztecs would typically consume the drink cold. And while you're waiting for your chocolate drink to cool down, consider making yourself a nice bowl of popcorn. While it may seem like a super modern snack, evidence of popcorn cobs in Mesoamerica actually dates back around 6,000 years. The Aztecs didn't just eat the stuff, though. They decorated with it, making garlands, necklaces, and ceremonial headdresses. A lot of people would recommend you use a little oil in the pot when making popcorn, but you don't need to, and it's certainly not what the Aztecs would have done. They popped their kernels in vessels placed on hot coals, or sometimes just on the coals themselves. If you don't have any coals lying around, don't worry. Your pot with a lid on medium-high will do just fine. Listen to that. Apparently, Aztecs would call the sound of popping kernels totopoca. Kinda sounds like it, huh? After a few minutes, it should be finished up and beautiful. Alright, now our chocolate's cooled down, it's time for a taste test.
Now,
see how thick
normally
it is?
put butter
on
that, right?
Mother of... So, for starters, it's way spicier than you might think.
What you expect?
A spoon of achiote and
chili flakes
goes a long way.
Chili
it's also
flakes.
really thick, closer to a sauce than a drink. For all my inability to handle spice, though, it's got a wonderful flavor. And I'd recommend giving it a try with and without the cane sugar. Just steer clear if you can't handle your spice.
Popcorn
Thick chocolate means
with
it
chocolate.
sticks to your tongue. Please, milk, I beg. Aspic.
Aspic.
When I was a kid, nothing made me happier than a bowl of Jello.
We all
Color,
like.
the sugar,
Come on now, we all
the
like Jello.
It was pure joy to a hyperactive kid. But what if I told you there was a time in recent history when you might have found onions, ham, or even shrimp in your Jello? This is an aspic. And in 1950s America, it was all the rage. Thanks to the advent of instant Jello in 1897, combined with the production boom of the 1950s, which spurred on industrious and disturbed American minds.
Ham?
For several decades, jellies with meat and vegetables were frequently served as main courses and were seen as a novel and impressive dish. While this may sound crazy, aspics likely predate dessert Jello. A 10th century
I do
Arabic
not see Jello
cookbook
like that.
even contains a recipe for seafood aspic. Similarly unappealing, meaty jellos were enjoyed by English monks in the 13th century England. Despite the storied history they enjoyed up until the 1980s, aspics died out in popularity. Let's find out if that was unfair, shall we? There are many aspic recipes from the 50s that survive, but the one we're using will require 2 packets of instant gelatin, 2 cartons of tomato juice, some cooked prawns, a tomato, an onion, a bell pepper, a head of lettuce, Worcestershire sauce, and
Worcestershire sauce.
For equipment, you'll need a mixing bowl,
I
whisk,
have
ladle, cutting board,
never
measuring
seen
cup,
meaty
pot,
Jello.
and mold for your Jello. Begin by chopping 1 onion, 1 pepper, and 1 tomato into bite-sized chunks.
Nope.
Set these chopped veggies to the side
Nope.
for now. Don't worry about cooking them. They go in raw.
Raw!
Maybe do worry about that. Next, add 1 cup of water to a mixing bowl before pouring in 2 packets of gelatin. Then mix thoroughly.
That
until
meaty
you end up
Jello
with
was
a
the most
slush.
rawest Jello I've
Next
ever
up,
seen
add
in my
a cup
life.
and a half of tomato juice to a pot and bring to a simmer. Follow that with half a cup of water. Whisk together. Next up, add around a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
Next, get your gelatin mixture, which should be looking hard and hearty, and spoon it into the pot. Then whisk thoroughly until it's incorporated fully into the liquid. Add 1 more cup of tomato juice and whisk. Bring this concoction to a boil for a few minutes to make sure the gelatin completely dissolves. Remove from the heat and once cooled, pour into the bottom of your mold. At this point, just fill it up to maybe the bottom 1/5 or so. Place your mold in the refrigerator for a couple hours and voila, we have the foundations for our monstrosity. Now it's time to get creative. Add your chopped pepper, onion, tomato, and pre-cooked shrimp into the mold in whatever way pleases you most. Remember, you'll be
None of
pouring
this
more
pleases
liquid
me.
over this though,
None
so,
of it.
try to space it out a little. Pour more of your concoction into the mold, making sure it seeps into every nook and cranny. Leave the bottom third or quarter of your mold for now, and just place it back in the refrigerator for another few hours, or overnight for best results. When it's solid, begin this process for the final time. I place my lettuce at the bottom like a nice bed of greens, but how you arrange everything is up to you. Pour in more gelatin juice, put it back in the refrigerator, and then remove a couple of hours later.
No, remember, this is the
Jiggle
worst
your
food.
creation
I was
from
going
your
to say,
mold,
this is probably,
and
what, healthy or something?
congratulations, a complete aspic. Dang, look at this thing. I'm honestly surprised it turned out as well as it did. Well, structurally speaking at least, because let's be honest, it looks nasty. Oh well, time to go ahead and give it a taste.
Nope. Nope. You will never see me taste that. Not even if you paid me.
Blah.
Blah.
Taste buds just about accept the tomato
Blah.
and Jello. The peppers.
That's the
and
result,
onions
man.
aren't
Blah.
awful either. It's essentially just like a salad.
Hey, can you rate this from 1 to 10?
suspended in
Blah.
tomatoes. Not to my taste, but not revolting until you hit a shrimp, that is. My mouth straight up rejected that bite. The flavor, texture, cold temperature gelled together in a really unappealing way. So, would I recommend making an aspic? Nope. It's fun, and the jiggly final product is satisfying.
How was this fun?
But, bleh. It truly was disgusting. Oh, and it takes hours to finish. You know what? Take that, aspic.
Yes. Take that. That meaty Jello was probably the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of foods that was like on that level of disturbing, but that meaty Jello, there is no way. Jello is supposed to have nothing in it, unless it's like maybe, let's say sliced fruit or something like pineapple, like sliced dices of pineapples or like fruit, like a grape or something. But don't shrimp, onion, ham. Why would you add something like that in meat? Who asked meat in Jello? There's two different types of ways you can eat Jello. Normally and fruity. Not meat. Nothing raw. Not shrimp, onions, ham. What? Like, okay, you can make a salad out of that, but not with Jello. No, man. I like Jello, but seeing that could kill somebody. Like, really, like if you torture someone, just torture them with food and just make any type of food just randomly together, and there you go. Just torture. You can kill someone if you make them eat stuff like that.
Garum.
Garum?
Every house, restaurant, and school I've ever been to has a bottle of tomato ketchup. It's a universal condiment. One study reported that an average American consumed 71 pounds of ketchup every year. For people like me, it's probably more. Still, as popular as the stuff is today, there's one ancient sauce that has it beat.
Really?
Garum.
Garum.
The ancient Romans were absolutely crazy about this sauce.
It was
They
addictive.
ate it with fish, drizzled it on salad, flavored their porridge with it, dunked pastries into it. They even made sub-sauces out of this stuff, mixing it with wine, vinegar, and honey. It's also famously kind of gross. Garum is made from fermenting fish guts that stank so bad, ancient laws decreed factories producing the stuff could only be located on the outskirts of towns.
Yeah.
Seneca,
Because anyone who smells it will probably go to the hospital the next day.
Poisonous fish that burns the stomach with its salted putrefaction.
Did he say the extract of poisonous fish? Poisonous fish. You're telling me that a sauce that y'all are so addicted, it has poisonous fish burns the stomach with its salted poisonous fish. Key word, poisonous. Burns the stomach. Another key word. And you find this addicting. Alright.
So, definitely an acquired taste. Let's try it. Fortunately, I didn't have a few months to wait around.
Bro, that
for
looks
my
like
fish to
alien
ferment,
goo.
as cook J.M.
Look like alien just threw up in there and boom, it's sauce.
Kulkin found a way to speed up the process. To prepare this sauce, you'll need 3 or 4 cans of your choice of small fish. I went with pilchard and sardines, a handful of fresh mint, and a whopping 500 grams of salt. To cook,
Why?
have ready 2
That is
large pots,
way
a
too much
colander,
salt.
and a roll of paper towels.
He's trying to kill somebody.
Begin by completely draining any brine from your canned fish, washing the fish with water, then placing them in a large pot. Add enough water.
They
to the
look like
pot
they
so that the fish is
expired.
entirely submerged. Place a lid on the pot and bring the contents to a boil. Once the fish is bubbling, add your truly ridiculous amount of salt to the pot, along with your comparatively modest handful of mint. Bring the fish
Mint?
up to a boil.
Are you
once
sure you got it
again
from
and let
outside
them
in your
bubble away
backyard?
for 15 minutes. It's at this point that I should
Who
warn you
pulls
that
that
this
much
is quite
salt?
possibly going to be the
It's supposed to be a-
stinkiest thing you've ever cooked. Be ready for the smell of salty fish to linger in your house.
No,
on
be
your
ready for the
clothes,
smell
and
of
in your
death
hair for
in your house.
weeks.
Who
Sorry, I
died?
didn't lead with that.
What died?
Lower the pot to a simmer and, using your implement of choice, mash the fish into a fine pulp. Really go to town on.
Oh, look at that. Why? Why does that look like... Why does that look like throw up? Why does that look like throw up? I'm asking you. And you make this was a thing? This couldn't be. This couldn't be. And I can see right now somewhere out there, someone made this to where this was a thing. Oh, believe it. This was a thing. We used to make stuff like this to drive away intruders, to drive away wild animals. I mean, they couldn't stand the stench of it. So whenever someone try to come around our house, boom, that smell, they run away. And I would not blame them to use this as a defense mechanism to drive away people and animals.
On that fish. By this point, the bone and muscle should be soft.
The bone and
easily
muscle.
crushed. Don't worry about mashing up every last morsel, though. Some chunks are fine. Once you're done, bring the pot back up to a boil and leave for another 20 minutes. Oh, God, I really can't downplay the smell here. At one point when I was making this, I'm pretty sure I heard a stray cat going crazy outside my window. Let me remind you once again that the Romans put this on pastries. We have our donuts with jam.
No,
They have them
no.
with rotten fish juice. After
Oh my God, that was so nasty. Oh God, that was nasty. That looked like something that came out of a damn horror movie. Nah, you know, so you're telling me that this has to be a lie. This has to be a lie. There's no way this is a thing. There's no way. No.
have our donuts
No.
with jam.
I want to see
They
that.
have them with
You telling me that this was food? If this is like a lie to get something out of people, to get expression, then you did a really good job. But if this was an actual food that people eat within this world, your digestive system is immeasurable. Like, you can eat anything. You can mix any type of food together and eat it like it's nothing. Eat it like it's, this is delicious. Here, try some. And that person is dead from food poisoning. Immediately. Not just, taking effect. No, it's immediate death. That's like a donut with rotten fish juice.
with rotten fish juice. After about 20 minutes, your garum should have begun to thicken. Place your colander over a second
thicken
pot
to make me
and pour
sicken.
your disgusting fishy broth into it. At this point, you can either toss the fish chunks or blend them and add them back into the pot before bringing it to a boil and repeating this process. At this point,
That
we
looked
do
like the
want
most
to remove
disgusting
every
version of
chunk of
tuna.
ham. So line your colander with strong paper towels, place over the original pot, and pour in the contents. Repeat the process of lining your colander with paper towels.
Why does it
and
look like you
transferring
just
the
took
liquid
a
back and
dip
forth between the two
from the
pots
sewer
several more
and
times.
boom,
The more
just...
you do this and the more chunks you remove, the better. I did this 4 times, but I could have done more. The chunks were telling. Once you're done, transfer your garum into a bowl for dunking or bottle for storage. Alright, time for a taste test. I'm
No!
gonna dunk some bread. When I say this is saltier than a spoonful of salt, I'm not kidding. The intense salty flavor hits in waves. At first it was strong, but then after 10 seconds, the lingering taste was so intense, I had to eat a handful of mint. No idea what the mint is doing in there, by the way, because it's undetectable. Alright, so when I said that the Romans had this with everything, I wasn't kidding. It's pastry time.
Why?
Am I really gonna do this?
Don't do it!
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is
You
an
have a
all-in-one
future.
productivity
Think
software
of your
where you can
life
manage
right now.
Everything and anything related to your work. You're done.
Just...
Oh my god.
Ah.
It's so gross. The fishy saltiness on the sweet bread is just... No.
Fishy
Absolutely
with sweet...
not. Where's the vomitorium? Banana ham hollandaise.
Banana ham holiday. Why did it almost sound like you said banana ham holidays? Banana ham with cheese. Banana ham with cheese.
You know, the 70s were a weird time. There was a clash between hippiedom and traditionalism, and perhaps no demographic was hit harder by the confusing era than suburban housewives. How else do you explain dishes from the era like the frankfurter and corn casserole, tomato mayonnaise chutney, sardine and egg canapes, and the meal we're preparing today? Banana ham hollandaise. This treat comes to us courtesy of McCall's Great American Recipe
this man
Card
here is
Collection.
eating food that
McCall's
can kill
was a
somebody,
woman's
and he's
magazine
eating
that, at the
every.
height of
He's
their
taste testing
popularity,
every
enjoyed an
single
annual
one.
readership of 84 million people. In the 70s, they produced a series of recipe cards featuring the previously mentioned abominations, and it's where we find today's recipe. For this dish, you'll need 8 medium-sized bananas, 8 slices of ham, 2 packets of hollandaise sauce mix, lemon juice, mustard, and single cream. To prepare,
I
make
can
sure you
understand
have a
that you're making a
frying pan,
turkey and ham
oven-proof baking
sandwich
tray,
with
and
cheese.
oven-proof baking
Okay,
paper.
I would
Begin
eat that.
by lining your tray with
Turkey
bacon.
and ham
Next up,
with
peel
cheese.
all your bananas and place them on the tray. Hot tip here: bananas are actually
But
easier
no,
to peel if you pinch them
banana
at the end rather
with
than pulling on
ham
the stem.
and
After this,
cheese.
drizzle a little lemon juice on each side of your bananas.
Drizzle?
This prevents them from drying out too much while
For
baking.
shizzle.
Next up, begin the process of taking a slice of ham, spreading a little mustard onto it, then wrapping it around a banana. If your ham is on the thicker side, like mine was, this might prove a little finicky, but you'll get there. Once you've wrapped every banana
that was
tight,
mustard.
place them
No,
in
no,
the
no, no,
center
no.
of an oven
You're putting
and
mustard
bake for 10
as
minutes
extra?
at 400 degrees. In the meantime, let's get to work on the hollandaise sauce. In a frying pan, add 1 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of cream, or thereabouts in my case. Then add both envelopes of hollandaise mix to the pan. Beautiful. Bring to a simmer and mix it all together. I ended up transferring to another pot to avoid splash damage. Before too long, it'll start to get nice and thick. Honestly, mine probably got a little too thick here. So, consider adding a little more cream or water to yours. Once the bananas have been baked for 10 minutes, remove them from the oven and begin generously applying your sauce. It's at this point, when the pale goo slopped on
This
the
is
banana
gonna be
bananas,
scrumptious.
the unappealing nature of this dish really began to set in. If you were a kid growing up in the 70s, man, my heart goes out to you. Imagine coming home from school to this. Once you're done, place back in the oven and bake for a further 5 minutes. Once that's done, remove and
Bro, that...
behold.
No.
As you can probably tell, my morsels look a little on the burnt side. This might be because many modern ovens heat faster than those from the 70s. But I didn't take that into account during the preheating process. So when you no doubt try this recipe at home, try to keep that in mind. Well, let's give this abomination a taste, shall we? Nope. I kept looking for something here to like.
I'm trying to like this,
works
but...
together, obviously, but the sweet lemony banana and hollandaise just doesn't gel. It doesn't taste like a cohesive meal at all, more like several things that are slamming together in my mouth. It's also
If this was a
really
try not to
hard
throw up
get
challenge
forkful,
and you're
as you
trying
can see.
food
Overall,
like this
recipe
out,
didn't go
try not to
well.
throw
My
up.
sauce was too thick,
Try
my
not
ham
to
wasn't
throw
wrapped
up.
as well as it could have been, and I think they went in the oven a little too long. Still, I get the feeling that even if everything had turned out perfectly, this wouldn't be a dish I'd be dying to try again.
Yeah, because next time if you eat
Roman
more...
bread salad.
Roman bread salad. Kinda. Roman bread salad.
Kinda. And speaking of things that didn't go well, here's one final
That's the
disaster.
worst one. That...
Ancient Roman bread salad. This intriguing recipe comes to us from a 5th century Roman cookbook, though it was likely eaten even earlier. It describes what I thought was an unusual kind of sandwich comprised of
Jell-O.
herbs, garlic, honey, cheese, oil, vinegar,
What's the worst
and
one?
water, sprinkled over bread with the crusts removed. What I made turned out fairly tasty, but it was also completely wrong. You see, smart guy I am, I decided I'd just try to follow the recipe in the original Latin. While I thought the recipe was telling me to remove the crusts of the bread, discard them, and apply the mixed seasoning, it was actually telling me to do the opposite. Remove the crusts, use them to make crumbs, and discard the rest of the bread. So I made the dang thing completely wrong. Now, could I have seen this coming based on the fact that I don't speak Latin? Yeah. Were updated English versions of the recipe available online? Also, yeah. You know what, though? I wouldn't feel honest if I didn't share my failures with you, so yes, I made a weird wet bread thing no one on earth had ever eaten before. Honestly, though, wasn't half bad. And there we are, 5 dishes from history. Some resounding successes, others enormous failures.
Nah, nah, I'm no. Here, no, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about these foods. There is no way on this planet that these food really exist. Now I know most of the time these videos and everything be having some truth, some false stories and all that, but that Jell-O was the worst one. That meaty Jell-O was the worst I have ever seen. If this was a try not to throw up challenge, and you was eating and testing out each one of these foods, if you throw up, you lose. But the question is, did you really lose though? Because your body would have easily rejected it. But the ham, banana, cheese sandwich, basically made a hot dog, but instead of the hot dog, it's replaced with a banana, and with the ham, you replace it with the bread. Now, okay, I can understand, honestly, it would have been better if it was, okay, let's say, a slice of ham, and you have a hot dog. And since both of them are kind of in the same category as meat in a way, okay, so instead of a bread, you have a slice of ham. Serve it as the bread for the hot dog. But no, let's have slice of ham with the banana, and let's add some special type of sauce. Let's add mustard on a banana. Now I can understand mustard on ham, Okay, cool. I mean, that's way better than putting mustard on a banana. But no, ham, banana with mustard, and let's put some special little thick evolution of mustard on the banana and ham, and let's cook it. Who has ever cooked a banana? Who has ever like put a banana in the oven, let alone a microwave, and warmed the banana up so that it's what, fried banana, baked banana? Like who has done that? I want to know. Like, is that edible? Is it good? It probably is because everyone has different tastes. But this was probably like that Jello, that bread though. It wasn't as bad. It didn't look as bad as the Jello. Who puts onions, ham inside of a Jello? Like I said, I can understand if you put fruit like diced diced pineapple, diced peaches. I'm trying to think other types of fruit like pineapple, pineapple slices or something. I'm trying to think. Not putting let's say berries or grapes or something. I've seen that before, but no, let's put shrimp. Let's put shrimp in there. Let's put a Gonna put shrimp. Gonna put onions. Onions in Jello. I don't see that as a meal. I don't see that as a meal. I really don't. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Chat, I'm gonna let y'all know this real quick. Now, seeing as I went live to this reaction, I'm gonna do a special reaction, live reaction, tomorrow probably. And this one is going to be a wrestling one. All right, I'm gonna try and do that, but you won't see it like this. It's gonna be in a different type of way. So I'll say stay tuned for that. Because the last time I did a live reaction to wrestling was on my old channel before it got terminated and everything. Yeah, I never had a problem out of that. But like I said, I'm gonna start do some certain reactions here, since some of the ones that I did turns out it was, no. So I'm gonna do a wrestling one tomorrow. So I'll say stay tuned for that, y'all. But yeah, just know I will be doing reactions, a little live time like so. But hey, if y'all enjoyed this, and I'll say you want to stay tuned to like more live time reactions, I'll say stop the bunch down below. You will see the next video. Okay. Also, stay tuned for shows, folks. For the shows that I have done. Now, I want to like throw this out there for y'all just in case. There's certain shows I can't put back on here. Like, for example, Three Stooges. I can't put that back on here. Alright? My Hero Academia, I can't put that on here because the other seasons I have done was done in a way to where I can't bring that back over here. So when the new season of My Hero Academia comes out, you will see it here. You will see that here. Believe that. This food, man, this almost. Oh boy, if this was a try not to get sick, I probably almost would have failed. That Jello was probably the one that did it. That donut, the fish one that looked like the one that was the fish one that looked like throw up. That was close, cause it looked like that looked like you going into the sewer, and you got a scoop. And you're scooping up water from the sewer. Well, I mean, whatever is making its way down there, you're just scooping up water and putting it into the pot. And there you go. Bon appetit. Enjoy. Delicioso. That's what that is to me. Like, just straight up food from the sewer, leftovers, and just put some spices, some salt, lemon pepper, and voila. Bon appetit. But either way, though, folks, hey, stay tuned, though, y'all. Stay tuned, because I will be going live to games, though. It will be happening next month and all that. But, hey, if you want to stay tuned, though, folks, I'll say stab the buttons, though. Stab the buttons, and you will see the next video. But I hope you have a good day, though. Stay safe, and yeah, you already know. That's all I can say.